What's up, Summoners? King Blake here. With World Arena having such an amazing reward being the Spectre Tenebris skin, and with everyone wanting to get it as early as possible, we're going to talk about the top 7 heroes that I think are the best non-ML heroes. You heard that right. Non-ML heroes that I think can stomp on the meta. So a lot of people think that they can't make it to Masters because they don't have the heroes. They're like, oh, all these people with ML Ken, ML Litica, I can't beat that. I can never get there because I don't have an ML 5-star. Well, I'm here to tell you there are 7 non-Moonlight heroes that I honestly think are better than the majority of ML heroes out there. They're so strong, and we'll cover them. We'll try to kind of rank them, but again, these are all so freaking good that you can't say one is better than the other. But it's just a general idea in terms of how much they're used and how much impact they have on the arena meta. If you like the video, make sure to like it and subscribe and join the Discord to talk to me and talk to any other fans. But all right, let's get right into it. So I am going to start with some honorable mentions and how I based the top 7 and why I think there's a top 7 just from personal experience in regular arena and also in World Arena. I already got the master tier, so I can just chill until the Spectre Tenebris skin. But the way I'm ranking these, not ranking, but saying how they are, biggest thing is they have to have very little counters to them, and can't be shut out by one unit, which means that there can't be a single unit that just completely blocks them out, that it's like you almost get penalized for using that hero, and it absolutely tears your team down. Or if they need an intensive setup, that's not something you want. You want someone that you can slap on near the end, when maybe your opponent change up their team a lot and you need to change your team and you have 1 or 2 last picks. This is usually the hero that will get you that last round out and it will help you a lot. So because of that, the 3 honorable mentions that are also really stupid good, and a lot of them are limited, which is one of the biggest issues, but they're going to be so from Sidonia, Cerise. Cerise is actually becoming a lot more prevalent, and she's so annoying. She's not necessarily like a unit that like will wipe out your team, but it's something that she just does so many annoying debuffs that it's really, really hard to deal with. When she gets the invincibility on this skill, it literally makes it so you can't kill her for a whole turn, so she's guaranteed to get the stun off. The slow is really annoying. Restrict comes up if you have like a Ruana or like the decreased speed. It's just so hard to deal with that. And because she's water, she has a really good matchup against Lilius, against Kieran, and against a lot of really good fire units that like right now, fire units on the come up. And she has a really good matchup against them. Really good unit, really annoying. Needs a team behind her, which is the reason why I don't think she's like a top 7 hero or like one that will always get you a win. Because she does need a lot of setup. Her by herself, she's going to get wiped. She's not going to do anything. The other one is going to Britannia. This one's a fire unit. Really stupid good. Hard to build. I will say that. Really hard to build. But where is he? I'll have to look for the all hero. But it's going to be regular Ken, the fire Ken. I don't have him. A lot of people that have him are really happy with him. And there are some fire Kens that are really annoying to deal with. You can build them with like 30k HP, and they just will one-shot some of your units. Stupid damage, can stun, can decrease attack, can counterattack, can burn. And he's just hard to deal with, hard to kill. Just an overall solid unit. He does get shut out by debuffs, and there are some artifacts that help him out in that aspect. But also, he gets just stomped on. Just like you, it takes a lot of stats, and you can't do that much, and you need to have a counter set on him. Or it's just really hard to build him. So really hard to build unit, really good tank, not the fastest in the world, not the slowest either, but like 102 for a warrior. You're not going to be getting that many turns, and you're not going to be always one-shotting. You're going to be doing a lot of damage consistently and counterattacking, but still has some counters to him. Cerise just absolutely shuts him out, which is one of the counters against him. And then last but not least, another one that you guys are probably going to roast me for this one, but I don't think she's top 7 anymore. People still think she's top 7. I don't think she is. Is she a good character? Absolutely. She's insane. But that's Isa Bellona. I don't think she's a top 7 hero. She shouldn't be a priority pick. She does require a really strong team around her for her to work. And people have so many counters against her. There's so many counters against her. You slap on Ruana, you're getting punished because of this skill. That's the biggest reason. As long as you have a way to put up immunity or cleanse debuffs from this third skill, this is going to start hitting like a noodle. It's going to be giving you more turns, and it's just, it really hurt her. Like, Roana coming out in PvP really hurt her, because if you first pick her in PvP arena, you better hope that you have a way to get past a tanky team, because if they slap on a Roana, they slap on a DJ Bazaar, that's it. You lost the pick, basically, and they have a very solid healer in trade for it. That's going to give them more and more turns. So, all right, let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of this video. I know it's already been 5 minutes, so I'll try to go a little fast on it. But number 7, we got Charles. So you might be like wondering, wait a minute, you just said that Roana counters counterattack heroes. Why are you saying Charles is good? So Charles is still a beast, because he has 2 ways to counterattack when built optimally. All these heroes are when built optimally. He has Elra's sword to counterattack when you hit his allies, and he has his own counterattack set when you hit him. Often build using immunity, so you can't really debuff him. People build him slow, but when he counterattacks, this skill will do like 6,000 damage. So Rana will heal for like 1,000 because you're only hitting one target. And then if this skill procs, it's like another 8,000. It does more damage than the skill 1. And the big part that a lot of people forget, it also removes debuffs. That's the crazy part. That's why I think Charles is so freaking good. It's almost like an Emo Ken, except he can attack during anyone else's turn. And then if he does end up getting his turn, he's going to hit so hard with this 3rd skill. And the attack buff to the whole team is really, really dangerous, especially if he has a good team built around him, because it just makes it so they do more damage, he does more damage. A Charles with an attack buff, and he counterattacks you, and he does both skills, Roana's not gonna help you there. You're absolutely gone. You're out of this world. He does lose to Spectre Tenebria, which is the one big-ish counter. He does not lose to Roana, because he just counterattacks way too hard. And it's only single target, so you don't get as much out of your Roana. So don't pick Roana against him. If anything, pick like a Lilius or a Kieran or another strong fire unit. Even like CC does a pretty good job against him, locking him out. So very, very solid unit. Number 7 though, because he himself cannot carry a team, he is, to build him optimally, it's like you either have to go for the speed or you have to have him slow. So you can't have best of both worlds. If they have someone that can strip his immunity and lock him out, it's over. He's typically not that tanky until he uses his S3. Even if you give him a ton of health, unless you have an insane Charles build, he does a decent job. Number 6, one of my favorite characters in this game, and I want to say I have the best built Kieran. I know that's a high and mighty claim. I will show him one of the videos. If y'all are interested in ever seeing him, I'm almost done with him, but he's like 165 CP. But Kieran is nuts in PvP. If you have a Kieran, you're probably challenger. Because people do not build against Kieran. He counters Bazaar. He counters... Bazaar honestly is the big one. And he also just does so much freaking damage with this 3rd skill. Like, if he procs Alexa's Basket, this 3rd skill with full health, it will be doing like 12k. And then if he's like, when he procs his Immortal passive, this will do like 24k. And he literally it makes a dynamic that if you first pick Kieran, your opponent has to pick an answer to him. They can't ignore the Kieran or they just lose. Because he has an amazing AoE skill that can decrease hit chance, so it makes it harder for you to kill the rest of the team. He has the opportunity to go Immortal, so you can't one-shot him. So you need to find a way to lock him down. But a lot of people do put immunity on the Kieran if they're slower. If they're fast, you usually just pair him up with someone that has immunity. And it's like, how do you lock down someone who can't die and has immunity? You know, you have to have a very specific build. And then the Apocalypse, again, the fact that this resets, if you build him fast, which is the optimal build, which is super fast, try to wipe out a unit one-shot. My Kieran can usually one-shot a Charles if Alexa's Basket procs, or Silence, which can disrupt the opponent. So that's the big thing. This skill's it's just such a good skill. It basically, he is a 2-for-1. You're going to take out someone with this skill, and then when he resets, you're going to take out someone else with this skill. And then if they don't kill you, then their whole team is just taking a massive AoE attack that does like 7-8k every single time he takes a turn. So really, really scary. Forces your opponent into a scenario they don't want to be in. One of the biggest counters for him, the most annoying one, is going to be someone like Cerise, because they can just make him so slow. Take off his immunity buff if it's one of the slow ones. And he's not going to be doing that much. So he does have a counter, which is why he's lower. But definitely creates a dynamic that it should literally becomes, can I deal with this Kieran or not? And a lot of people do not have the counter to him. A lot of people don't have Cerise built. Cesar Bellona does do some work on him, but if he has immunity, Cesar Bellona doesn't matter. So really, really strong unit. Probably one of the best for PvP. Now, number 5, Soul Weaver. And I think it's the only Soul Weaver here. And that is going to be... Where is she? Elena. Y'all, the more I fight against this character in Arena and in like Masters tier and in the Champion tier in the regular Arena, the more I hate this character. Bro, this character is so tilting. So why is this character so good? So the reason why she's so good is the artifact, Magra's Tome, which lets her basically get 30% if you do an AoE attack. Right now in the meta, most of the best heroes have some form of AoE attack. And the fact that that matters is because this is going to come in. You're going to decrease all the damage done by the AoE attack. So you're not taking as much damage. Like Cisa Bellona, damage goes down the drain. Like almost no damage. And she also heals it up, so you take none of the damage. And then with Magra's Tome, when she heals, she gets like 30% combat readiness when it's fully maxed out, which it should be if you're trying to make her competitive. And there is so many ways to build her. And what's scary is you'll start seeing the higher up you get, the scarier it becomes because they start having less counters. There's still like a lot less counterplay to these units. And they're just so hard to deal with. And she's one of them. Because if you build her right, so there's two builds. If you have Ambitious Tywin, you're going for the fastest Elena you can get. You're going for like 240 speed Elena. 220 speed. At least 220 speed. Why do I say that? Because if someone has a Bazaar and they see Elena, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to come in with my Bazaar. I'm going to push her back. No, because it's going to be a super fast Elena. Your Bazaar's going to go. Ambitious Tywin's going to remove the cannot be buffed. She's going to heal everyone, get 30% for herself. So now she's faster than everyone else on Bazaar's team, which is why you need to build her fast and have another fire unit to mess up the Bazaar's timing with Challenger Dami. And then she's going to use her ultimate, which literally just gives you invincibility and a ton of effect resistance. This effect resistance is huge. If it was immunity, she'd be absolutely bonkers. She would actually be probably the best character in the game if this was an immunity skill. Like if it was old Crimson Armin. I love how I say that, but it's literally Crimson Armin. But the fact that she gets a turn makes her better than Crimson Armin because she has the damage mitigation, she takes the extra turn, she gives invincibility, and then the rest of your team can just chill because you're invincible, you have effect resistance. It's GG. Like, Cleave team's gone. So if they try to get cute with a Bazaar and a Cleave team, you slap Elena on there, GG. The other way to build her, which is the slow build, is you still have her like 180, 190 speed, but you have her on a counterattack set. She uses this first skill. This spells debuffs. Y'all, I feel like this skill is always freaking up. And for this one, you don't need Magra's Tome. I still think Magra's Tome is the best. But a lot of people will put Celestine, and this will just heal for a ton, and it removes 2 debuffs. And it's just like, what? 2 debuffs? That's like half the team. If it's a Bazaar, that's half the team. If you're trying to cleave with a defense break, that's half the team. So if you touch this Elena and she counterattacks, she's healing like 3,000 if you have Celestine on her, and she's dispelling debuffs. So it's like, what are you gonna do? You know? And then she comes in, does her ultimate, and then he has invincibility. It's just, it's so tilting, y'all. It's so, I can't stress you guys how good Elena is and how many people are sleeping on Elena. I really do think she's like one of the best units in the game, which is why she's still number 5 because the ones above her have even less counters. She can still get countered. She can still get blown out. She can still get debuffed. There's few ways, but there's very little ways to deal with a good Elena. If they have a good Elena, you better hope you have a really good tanky team that can outlast. The next one I want to talk about is another hero that the more I play, the more I realize I had a completely different idea on how good this character was. Krau. Krau is the best defensive tank right now, in my opinion. Krau is better than MLCC. I said it first. Krau is better than an ML 5-star. If you have a Krau, you're doing better than someone that's an MLCC. Why do I say that? For Arena, of course, for real-time Arena. He is actually a tank that can also one-shot, that can buff your team, and it's just so annoying to have to deal with. Most Kraus are like 25k HP, 180 plus speed, and like insane effect resistance. Like, I don't know how people do that. Like, people have like invest so much in their Kraus, it's crazy. But he is worth it. The biggest reason, this second skill, The pushback is super annoying. I didn't realize how annoying it was until like with Speedy Cross. If you have a slow team, this really hurts you because it pushes you back even further. And if they have like a Cerise, they just live forever. And then it adds defense to the whole team. Like the defense buff with this guy, so hard to deal with. It's really, really good on Crawl, but that is just literally his second skill. His first skill, a provoke. It disrupts your team. Later in the game, when you're trying to like find, like let's say you're about to kill one of his units, he comes in, they click you, boom, provoked, GG. Now you're hitting a freaking tank Crawl, and you don't want to hit Crawl because this third skill, if you don't have a way to stun him before he reaches a certain point, and he always uses Aureus for the most part. Some people put a Holy Sacrifice for solo cross, but what a lot of people do is Aureus, and I think Aureus is better overall because it will lower his health, and you can absolutely kill any squishy with a good Crawl because he'll be like at 6k health, which is like pretty safe for him, and he's able to do like 18k damage because this is based on his missing health. So the more health he has, if he has a 25k health, and he has a 5k health, that's 18k. That's like, I don't think there's a single damage dealer that has that much health. So it literally becomes like, he's a 1-for-1 and a tank. Versus like where MLCC, it's like, yeah, she's annoying with the disruption with the provoke and this barrier, but she's not going to be one-shotting one of your units at any given point once they get a little bit low. And she's not, like, defense buff is way better than a barrier. Defense buff is way better than a barrier. So, Crawl, really, really nuts. Now, we're getting to the top 3. Y'all, I don't know if this is definitely, like, when you'll see the top 3, you're like, you're hyping up a lot of these units. How are the top 3 units in here going to be even better? And they really are. Because these 3 units, they really have almost no counters or are the golden standard for Arena. It's a unit that everyone's going to be picking if they have it, or they're just very hard to deal with. And number 3, I have to put this unit. I regret not pulling for her in the past. I underestimated her in the past because she has gotten 3 buffs, and that is going to be Tenebria. Holy moly, guys. If you ask me what's my single-handedly most hated unit in the game right now, it's Tenebria. Why? Because she does everything. She has everything. Like, this character is nuts. I kind of want to see the stats. Yeah, look at that. 110 speed, so pretty solid base speed. Faster than Bazaar. Pretty solid health. Really good attack. High crit rate for no reason. Her skills just work so well together that it's just, it shouldn't be allowed. This character is so overtuned, and no, I know I'm hitting on it, and people are gonna be like, "Yo, Tenebria, she's back on the radar." If you ask me, almost best fire hero because there's one better than her, but best debuffer in the game. Why do I say that? This third skill, it's not the defense break that's super tilting. This goes up to 85%, so like pretty solid defense break. But the part that is super annoying is the sleep. Because if she puts you to sleep, you don't get your turn. And it just hurts so much to watch a fast-spected Tenebria cut in on your team and just absolutely murk you. And when she's built with counterattack set, because usually they'll build her on 200 speed, and you think you're safe, you'll come in with a unit that doesn't AoE attack. She'll be an immunity counter set. She'll counterattack with this first skill. And like usually a lot of the first turn setters, why a lot of people are switching their Bazaars to immunity is because of her. It's because if she counterattacks you and puts you to sleep, and this honestly, it says 60%, it's 80%, but this feels like it's 100%. Like I'm telling y'all, it's basically 100%. But it literally will counterattack, put a target to sleep, and then she'll just get like 50%, right? Yeah, 50% combat readiness. What the heck? Why is it 50%? That's so much. That's a whole turn. That's a half a turn. That's better than BBK. BBK doesn't even get an extra turn when she kills. She literally just has to put you to sleep to get half a turn. And the thing about it is this skill will not wake you up. So it's like you literally just come in, third skill, put everyone to sleep. You come back, you're like, oh, that's a Q unit. First skill, put back to sleep, she gets 50%. And it's like, what? How do I deal with it? And then the counterattack set, heaven forbid, you're trying to kill her, she counterattacks on your damage dealer, puts you to sleep. And people build her with like 14k HP, and she's still doing like 6,000, 7,000 damage per hit. The second skill, it's whatever. Honestly, I think the second skill is the worst part. But the decreased speed, with how much turns she gets with this first skill, you just feel like you're getting murked. Like, it just doesn't feel fair when you fight against a good Tenebria. So if you have a fire Tenebria, y'all should be able to get to Masters. Literally just focus all your resources on your Tenebria, you'll probably get to Masters because she is that good. And literally just build her with immunity, build her with a good enough team to be able to strip. Like her and Cerise, it's a little combo people have been doing. I don't like that. Her and Cerise are super tilting to go against in that combination because it just gets nasty. All right, but now the top two. And this one, I've left it at the end because it's going to go kind of fast. These are kind of the golden standard for PvP, which is why I put them up here. But that is going to be Basar. So number 2, Basar. So Basar is the golden standard for combat readiness booster, which is surprising because his base speed is actually on the lower side. So his base speed is 108. But the thing about Basar is he has the most crushing ultimate out of any combat readiness setter. So compared to like Lilibet and stuff like that, yeah, it's kind of annoying. Like for Lilibet, it's kind of annoying that she can decrease everything. But Basar, with the soul burn, the fact that this ignores effect resistance just makes him such a good contender. If they don't ban your Basar in Arena, it's just putting them at such a huge disadvantage because cannot be buff is such a big debuff that it literally just forces all their buffers to like literally be useless. It literally shuts out so many units. It shuts out enough units that it makes it so if you slap on your Basar on your team, they have to completely try to counter the Basar. They will waste so many resources trying to counter the Basar. They'll have to slap a Lilius, they'll have to slap a Champ C, they'll have to slap a Kieran if they have it. Like they have to put things to counteract your Basar, and that's what you want. You want them to force them to do things they don't want to do because that gives you the control when you're in PvP. Because it literally just makes it so if you pick Basar, you know what they have to pick. If they don't pick it, you just win. So it's like you force them into a situation that if you have the counter characters against the characters that counter Basar, you just win. It forces their ban on the Basar because they know a lot of the times if they don't have the good team enough built for him, they will just lose. So it really, really, really does. Is one of the best units in the game. Again, not overhyped, just really, really good. The fact that people are building units that have never been built before because of him just shows how strong he has become. Yes, he's starting to fall off because people are finding more and more ways to counteract him, but he's still the golden standard. He's still one of the strongest ones. And last, but definitely not least, I really struggle with her putting her up here, but the amount of times I see her warrants this spot. And I've said it a couple of times in the video. Lilius. So Lilius literally counters almost everything I just talked about. All the units I talked about that are super strong, Lilius counters all of them. She counters so many ML units. And I don't know why, but I feel like everyone has a Lilius. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like everyone has a Lilius. Why? I don't know. But I just feel like it's one of those units that I have to assume you have. I never pick a unit and not assume that they have a Lilius. And I would say like 90% of all battles, there is a Lilius in the battle. Because you're either using her to counteract a debuffer, you're using her to counteract Basar, or you're just putting her on her there because she's just a really good tank. She can provoke with this skill, which is super nasty because when it has 100% chance to provoke for 2 turns, that unit is forced to attack a tank for 2 turns. That's 2 turns wasted. So it's just a really good second skill that helps her live. The third skill is probably one of the best third skills in the game. It does so much. The remove the debuffs is the biggest part, but the pushback, the setup, giving her 50% combat readiness, doing some damage, pushing them back, and the fact that it scales over your highest attack. If you have someone with really high attack, this skill will do like 6,000. If you build your Lilius right, it'll do like 4, 5, 6,000, or even like 3,000. It already does so much poke damage. It'll go through barriers. It'll push people back. It'll set you up for a kill, which is usually what you want to do. You build her fast and tanky, and then it just gives you another turn so you can just come in and disrupt someone else with this, or you just attack with the first skill and attack with anyone. And the dual attack chance is just nuts. You dual attack with... There's so many units that benefit off this dual attack that it really just makes Lilius the best unit in the game, but in terms of pick rate, in terms of everything. I really do think she is the best RGB unit. I almost want to say she's the best PvP unit in the game right now because she is probably the single-handedly most used unit. The best support unit, does the most damage, messes up the most units. It's just really, really good unit. Having a good Lilius is a blessing. And then the fact that she awakens into attack for your team. Like, if you actually have a Lilius triple SS, God, I feel so bad for whoever you have to go against that has that. Because that's just going to be, every time she dual attacks, someone's going down. But that is all I have for you guys today. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you have any of these heroes, make sure you're using them. If you're struggling in arena, I don't know what to tell you. Build your unit, invest in them. Because if you have one of the 7 I mentioned, and you put your best equipment on them, I guarantee you will be able to get to master. If you just grind it out, you will be able to get a master in the next 2 months. But that is all I have for you guys today. I will see you all next time. Peace.